Hey guys, it's Chris. From legendary cities found underground to palaces believed to be myth until they were found again, here are 8 places that were lost and then rediscovered. Number 8. Machu Picchu, Peru. Machu Picchu is arguably one of the most interesting and revealing places in the world. And why? Well, because it's through this city that we got to take a look inside the Incan Empire. This was a tribe that ruled a lot of South America for some time, including Peru, Bolivia, Chile, Argentina, and more. And yet, for a while, we didn't know much about them until we found Machu Picchu. This was one of the biggest cities in the empire, and as such, we're able to discern a lot from it. And because of its importance in regards to the history of the land, it's now a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Its giant walls, terraces, and ramps seem as if they have been cut naturally into the continuous rock escarpments. The UNESCO description reads, "The natural setting on the eastern slopes of the Andes encompasses the upper Amazon basin with its rich diversity of flora and fauna." As for when it was rediscovered by the world at large, that would be due to an American named Hiram Bingham, who according to sources went to the country, then traveled by mule and foot to reach this place. But get this, the locals only called it a retreat that native leaders went to, likely meaning that they didn't know what they'd stumbled upon. While damage has been done to Machu Picchu over the years, 300,000 people still visit it annually. Number 7. Dvarka. Dvarka, which shouldn't be confused with Dwarka, is a legendary city from India that eventually found its way beneath the waves, and it's a place that holds a lot of religious sentiment to the people of India. Why? Well, that would be because this underwater city, which was once above ground, was said to be the home of Lord Krishna, the Hindu deity. In Hindu lore, Lord Krishna was the reincarnation of the creator of the world, so his significance in the religion is quite well known to those who believe in this religion. It's said that about 5,000 years ago, Dvarka city was built under the supervision of Lord Krishna. And not only did he want the place to be decorated in silver, emeralds, and crystals, he also wanted a palace for every single one of his wives, of which he had 16,000. That's a lot of buildings. However, the city was later destroyed as Krishna and another god did battle, and the result of this battle was that the city sank into the waters below. It wasn't until much later that archaeologists were able to find it. Interestingly enough, it was exactly where it was supposed to be, though the layout was similar to another city of the period, Dvarka, which was made 9,000 years ago. Number 6. Herculaneum. Most everyone knows the story of Pompeii and how it was destroyed by the volcano Vesuvius. Yet that volcano also killed another city, one that wasn't rediscovered for a very long time afterwards. Herculaneum. And why wasn't it mentioned in the legend? Well, it was 12 hours after the fall of Pompeii that this happened. What's more, because it was upwind of the volcano, the effects of the eruption not only wiped it out, but it actually preserved it perfectly. Some even say that Herculaneum is actually in better shape than Pompeii, due to the ruins and artifacts that have been found in both sites. Fast forward to the 18th century, and a farmer was doing work on land that was his, but unbeknownst to him was also above Herculaneum. As he began to dig a well, he found some marble in the ground that he couldn't explain. It was later realized that he dug up part of the Roman theater that was in Herculaneum. This discovery led to many racing to the area to dig it up and find the truth about the city that was long since forgotten. Robberies would soon come to the buried city. And then King Charles of Bourbon made an official expedition to rediscover the city, one that continued in the 20th century. The digs have been very fruitful, and we know now there's more to the legend of Pompeii than was previously told. Though one aspect that is still unknown, however, is how many people died in the eruption. At present, about 1,500 people were found dead in both cities, but there is reason to believe that more could have lost their lives in the disaster, but there's just no true way of knowing. And now for number 5, but first, have you ever visited any of these places? Let us all know in the comments below. And if you're new here, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss out on the latest videos. Number 5. Derinkuyu Underground City. The country of Turkey is known for having many underground cities that were created during its lifetime. Many of these were created in the Cappadocia region of the country, and these cities were hand-carved from the volcanic ash that lied within. One of the biggest and most famous of them all, though, is Derinkuyu Underground City. This place is 18 stories in size and was so well crafted that it could have housed around 20,000 people, which makes you wonder many things about the people who lived there. The underground city was said to have been created during the 8th to 7th century BC and was said to be home for refugees. And make no mistake, they had a thriving society, as there were shops, stables, meeting halls, and much more, including a stone door that was used to help protect the city. The funny thing here is that despite it being a massive place, finding it was truly an accident, for a man in Turkey was trying to renovate his home in 1963. As he knocked down a wall to his house, he found himself looking at a secret tunnel, one that led to the city of Derinkuyu, further proving that sometimes history returns in ways you'd least expect them to. Number 4. The Palace of Kublai Khan. Of the many stories of China that Marco Polo told upon his return to Italy, one of the grandest was of the Palace of Kublai Khan, first ruler of China during the Yuan dynasty. Khan had a palace so grand and magnificent that it said he kept 10,000 white horses on the premises and had a massive park right outside, and it was all made of marble. Oh, and he also had massive dragon statues as well. But when the Ming army destroyed most of it in 1369, no one from Europe or beyond had the chance to look at it with their own eyes. Eventually, though, it was rediscovered, and with it came vindication from Marco Polo, as his descriptions of the buildings were spot on. The park was there, as were remains of many horses. The palace was twice that of the White House even. The palace is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site visited by many. Oh, and if you're curious, yes, parts of the dragon statues were found too. Number 3. Great Zimbabwe in Zimbabwe. In all of Africa, one of the greatest mysteries lies in Zimbabwe, but specifically a city from its past that was abandoned in an unexplained way. This city was called Great Zimbabwe. From 1200 to 1400 AD, Great Zimbabwe was a major point of trade in the region and the continent. The city even received business from India and China at times. The city was vast in wealth and had many different industries going through it, including farming, livestock, and mining. It was a true crown jewel of the region, which is not something that many people outside of Africa even know about nowadays. Yet, like so many cities and monuments, its success eventually turned to ruin. While this is expected to some extent, no one is sure what really happened here. Some think that Great Zimbabwe grew so big that its resources began to dwindle, forcing people to move away in order to live. Others speculate that cultural changes actually led people away from this haven of trade, and due to its abandonment, it created quite a stir in the community when it was rediscovered, mainly because few could understand why such a big place got abandoned without clear documentation. Despite this, though, it's now a heritage site and a monument of the Zimbabwe people. Number 2. Alexandria. Egypt has had many great cities over the many centuries of its existence, but when it came to Alexandria, it was truly the greatest of all, especially since many things in its construction were due to the Greek ruler Alexander the Great. One of the biggest things that made Alexandria what it was its port. It was the greatest port in the world at the time, and its grandness was truly beyond measure. It was known as Port Magnus, another reference to the Greek culture that Alexander grew up in. Sadly, the city was not meant to be, as a mix of various natural disasters, including tidal waves, sank most of the city beneath the waves that once made it a great port city. The city was lost underwater for some time, until underwater archaeologist Franck Gudillot came along. With approval from the government, he dove into the waters to try and find what was lost. It took his team 3 years to survey the waters, but they found it. And now Port Magnus isn't just discovered, it's mapped out to such an extent that it actually dwarfs what the ancient writings told about it. Finding things that people who lived in ancient times left behind is an extraordinary experience. It can teach us a great deal about how they lived, how they prayed, fought, and navigated the seas. It's simply fascinating, said Gudillot. Number 1. Pompeii. One of the most legendary stories throughout history is the destruction of Pompeii because of the volcano known as Vesuvius. It is one truly etched into our world. And while the city was eventually found again, most people think about the eruption that literally buried the city and those around it in ash. The eruption of Vesuvius is considered one of the greatest volcanic eruptions in human history. For when it erupted in 79 AD, it didn't just send lava to the ground, it hurled massive clouds of deadly gases and ash into the air, which slowly rained down on the people as they tried to escape. Scientists have gone so far as to say it was ejecting molten rock, pulverized pumice, and hot ash at 1.5 million tons per second, which is an astounding number to think about. Pliny the Younger was a Roman who was there at the time of the eruption and detailed the event 25 years later. I cannot give you a more exact description of its appearance than by comparing it to a pine tree. For it shot up to a great height in the form of a tall trunk, which spread out at the top as though into branches. Occasionally it was brighter, occasionally darker and spotted, as it was either more or less filled with earth and cinders. Both Pompeii and Herculaneum were buried because of the outpouring from the volcano, and the first true finding of Pompeii afterward was in 1592. But it was hundreds of years later that the city was finally fully uncovered after multiple excavations. It's now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and one that is still delivering mysteries to archaeologists, as they continue to find rather unique items and paintings strewn about the destroyed city. Well, thanks for watching. What did you think of these lost places that have been found again? Which one was your favorite? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.